Move came a day after McMahon was accused of sexual assault and sex trafficking in a lawsuit. A former WWE employee, Janelle Grant, claims she was physically and emotionally abused by McMahon. He's denied the allegations and says he's stepping down out of respect for the WWE universe.
Salute, salute.
Salute.
What's going on, y'all? What's going on? How's everybody?
Hey, what's going on, chat? What's going on? Righteous Fear, stand up.
Let's go. Salute, salute. What's going on, Red? Hope everything is good on your end, brother.
Sorry for that right there, fellas, but I'm glad we're here today, and we got a great one today, guys. Welcome to class. Vince is the definition of evil. I couldn't do this without the Turnbuckle King, KDH, and I couldn't do this without our sports analyst, Uncle Jackie. So salute to y'all. Thank y'all for coming out this morning. KDH.
Salute, brother. Salute.
Salute.
Man, give us a little bit of intro of what we're going to be doing today, man.
What's going on?
Let them know what we're going to be doing today. Here,
We're going to be talking about the Vince McMahon, the history of former chairman, history of allegations. We'll discuss, the whole allegations, everything he's done, really, from A to Z.
Exactly. All right, guys. So without any further ado, let's get on into this right here, and let's break this thing down. Y'all know that Vince built the empire, then not from the ground up, because you know what I mean, the foundation was laid out, but he built the empire. And normally, Rome, I tell you all of the time, Rome wasn't built in a day, but it a burning one. And sometimes it's at the childhood. People's childhood trauma, it's the reason why they are the way they are, guys. Now, I need y'all to understand. I'm trying to stall so that we could pass the little clearance. If you haven't ate breakfast yet, if you one of them people with a sick stomach, you might want to refrain from this live stream, all right? Because we're going to dig deep into the history and the background and the childhood of Vince McMahon, because that's the only way to understand why he's so disturbed and what's wrong with him. All right?
Definitely.
Yep.
All right, so we're going to start from the ground up, like I said. I can't, because of WWE and a strict copyright clause, I can't play any video, but we got some audio, and I need y'all to listen to this, guys. I need y'all to listen to this.
McMahon declined to participate in the documentary you are about to watch.
Earlier tonight, my father, Vince McMahon, retired from WWE.
With those 9 words, Stephanie McMahon stunned the world of professional wrestling.
I don't think anybody would have ever said that Vince McMahon would have ever stepped down.
Everybody figured that he was going to do this until he died.
Welcome to SmackDown. Over decades, Vince McMahon faced financial ruin.
Vince mortgaged every dime that he had.
Battled ruthless competition.
And now WCW is about to dominate the globe of professional wrestling.
And confronted career-ending scandals.
Speculation is running wild. Did steroids play a role, or is there another explanation?
He could be a tyrant.
The whole thing was an abortive kind of screw job.
So many scandals.
I don't even know if there would be a wrestling business by the time all the investigations were complete.
Often close to being pinned.
He was down many times,
Vince always kicks out.
In every case, he bounced back.
I've never seen anything like that. These are the 9 lives of Vince McMahon.
First of all, I resent your tone.
The origin story of the rich and powerful wrestling mogul, Vincent McMahon Jr., begins in a poor, run-down North Carolina trailer park where a tough, mouthy, dyslexic kid named Vinnie Lupton is living with his mom.
There was some kind of a falling out.
All right, guys. So already from the start, you see he had it rough, and he was a single hell of a son, single mama raised. And we tell you, it's statistically proven that they raise the craziest, the worst products in America. It's not a bash. And it's not a color thing. It's not a
Tell him,
color
bro.
thing. You see it, right?
Oh, bro, I already know, bro.
Proof is in the pudding. The proof is in the pudding.
We tell him this every day, bro. Don't we know?
Every day we say that, every day. Even when they tell us to look over there.
Where a tough, mouthy, dyslexic kid named Vinnie Lupton is living with his mom.
There was some kind of a falling out in the marriage, and then he and his brother Rod were left to be raised by their mother Vicky. He kind of had a chip on his shoulder from the beginning.
All most people know from this period of Vince's life comes from his 2001 interview with Playboy magazine.
He alludes to his mother sexually assaulting him. He alludes to being molested when he was 6 by other teenage kids.
And this is crazy, guys. This is his writing. This is in his, this was in that report, guys. No cap, no flex. This was in that report right there. So this is why this is no excuse. This is no excuse for what he doing. But you know, I like to dig deep. I like to find out why the weirdo is a weirdo. You know what I mean? And this is the reason why, guys. Just like Puff, when we did that research on Puff and we found out that he had a hell of a mother who was a 304, brought dudes around him, and we see how he turned out. So ladies, y'all gotta start checking these mothers. These mothers are the ones producing these essayers, and you know what I mean? The proof is in the pudding, bro.
There's stories of his mother bringing various different men into their.
Wait a minute, hold on, you wildin', bro.
Lives. There was in particular Leo Lupton, who was officially Vince's stepfather. He apparently was a very abusive man.
And despite that abuse, or perhaps because of it, Vince develops a ruthlessness that will come to define him.
Vince said that he was upset that Leo Lupton died before he had a chance to kill him, and that he would have really enjoyed being able to do that.
At 12.
Yo, y'all want to chime in on that right there, yo? So this boy grew up with that resentment to dudes. This is why he like emasculating and seeing guys, big, strong wrestlers in compromising positions.
This is just, I have to say that Vince, it explains everything he's done. And if you notice, it's a trail that no one ever wants to work with Vince. We thought he was just a terrible boss to work with, but he had definitely issues. You know, beyond just being a terrible boss, he has some mental issues, and he liked to degrade people and, like you say, emasculate people, and like to abuse his power and force himself on people. And now I see why all the lawsuits over the years and why people just had such a disdain, a strong disdain for him. Now it makes sense.
Now, let me before y'all do another video, what I think, it just came to my brain about, you know, somebody did what they did to him, the essay, I guess. This is now this is just me going into myself now, just for y'all people who care about school. Vince McMahon, this is payback for him. Some of this is payback for him. When he was having a moment, powerless and helpless, and you know, whatever was happening, I think this, I mean, I might be wrong, but this is how it seems to me. Might be some get back. You know what I'm saying? Just like, oh, before I was powerless, now I have all the power. Now I'm gonna make people feel the way I felt, whether it's through SA, through, brute force, or using his power. You know what I mean? It could be something like that.
That's exactly what it is, though. That's exactly what it is. And
Yeah, you spot on, Uncle Jackie.
You spot on with that one.
Yeah, that man making people pay. He's sick.
Basically, yeah. Whatever is in the dark comes to light.
Oh, Uncle Jackie, we lost Uncle Jackie. He'll be back. You there, KD?
I'm still here.
All right.
Chance to kill him, and that he would have really enjoyed being able to do that.
At 12, Vince finally meets his biological father, who happens to be one of wrestling's most successful promoters. Vince.
We went over that. We went over that yesterday, guys. Now, how many of y'all think that his mother knew exactly that he had a dad that was rich, but she'd keep the kid over there with him, with her, until he was 12 years old, until she can't handle him no more, until he's able to comprehend, and now he realized, you a fool. You a whole fool. Wow. Meanwhile, his dad way across town with the bag, though, but the mother's pride won't allow her to let the fathers be involved. He ain't meet his biological dad till he was 12, guys. After the damage, after the generational curse been blessed upon him.
Vincent James McMahon, or Vince Sr.
Vincent James McMahon was the most important person in professional wrestling in the northeastern United States.
Here's promoter Vince McMahon's wrestling lineup for this arena next week.
Vince becomes like that storybook teenager who runs away from an evil stepfather to join the circus.
There's stories of Vince hanging out with Dr. Jerry Graham, who is this very flamboyant, kind of over-the-top figure in pro wrestling. Vince would ride down the street in his convertible with him while he was lighting cigars, with $100 bills.
But when Vince starts stealing cars for joyrides and getting into fights, Vince Sr. tries sending him away. Vince would.
Damn. So you was a damn thief? You a damn thief too? You was a thief too, Vince? Oh, man.
Still a thief.
Vince is he a wild boy.
Yeah, he steals everything.
He steal everything. He a wild boy.
Yeah.
Wild boy, bro. The more things change, the more things stay the same.
Right.
Yeah, Vince the biggest heel in history in wrestling. Biggest heel.
Real life.
Demon.
Mm-hmm.
To Fishburne Military Academy. Legend has it that he got into a lot of trouble.
He claimed that he was the only student there to ever have been court-martialed. I don't know how much truth there is to that, but the story goes that he was an unruly kid and that the military school kind of really had their hands full with him.
Until his mom finds him a girl, as Vince explains in this 1999 TV.
So his mom's was the madam. His mom's finds him a girl. You know what I mean? His mom's found him a girl. Instead of leaving this boy in the school so he can get right, so he can get some discipline, you lure this boy back into society with a female. And this man out here essaying women, and we wonder why.
Mm-hmm.
Can't make this shit up.
Yeah, I think everybody's gonna pay.
Exactly, yo. Hold on. This is the damning. This is the next thing is damning, yo.
Court-martialed. I don't know how much truth there is to that, but the story goes that he was an unruly kid and that the military school kind of really had their hands full with him.
Until his mom finds him a girl, as Vince explains in this 1999 TV interview.
My mom had said, you have to come meet this beautiful blue-eyed girl. She sings in the choir and she's pretty and you're really gonna.
You had to specify blue-eyed girl, yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, he made sure to say that.
Demons, the devils. The devils, boy. She lured them with the demons. She lured them with the demon, yo. Yeah, keep talking, Vince.
Mom had said, you have to come meet this beautiful blue-eyed girl. You know, she sings in the choir and she's pretty and you're really going to like her.
Let's see, I think I was 13 years old. And Vince was,
16.
dare I say that you were.
You see, so that ain't never been our culture, but it seemed like that might have been their culture, yo. Just she's 13 years old,
culture.
and his mother is able to manipulate you at 13 to go fuck on her son, yo. And we want to follow this. This is the blueprint we want to bring to our culture. I don't get it, man. Shit crazy, guys.
I don't get it either.
I don't get it. Yo, y'all heard it for yourself, y'all. This is what we do here at the Nosy Ninja. If we gonna be nosy, we gonna be real nosy. We gonna find out why the weirdo is the weirdo. And y'all heard it for yourself, bro. Y'all heard it for yourself. One more time.
1999 TV interview.
My mom had said, you know, you have to come meet this beautiful blue-eyed girl. You know, she sings in the choir and she's pretty and you're really going to like her.
Let's see, I think I was 13 years old. And Vince was,
16.
dare I say that you were older? Yes, 16.
Vince and Linda married on August 26, 1966. After college, Vince goes looking for a job at his dad's Capital Wrestling Corporation. But Vince says his father again turns him away.
Wanted me to have a more secure future, wanted me to be an accountant or an attorney or something like that. And I really wasn't cut out for any of the above.
He's right. Out on his own, Vince stumbles badly.
He had talked about being a salesman, selling paper cups, things that didn't really thrill him, and not doing very well at it.
Then, for the first of many times, Vince escapes adversity, this time aided by his dad.
They had an announcer named Ray Morgan who was kind of becoming difficult. Vince Sr. hired his son officially as an announcer and also gave him some small towns to promote.
This Monday, a fantastic card of professional wrestling.
Vince, a natural-born huckster, is soon putting those skills to work on all kinds of side hustles.
He was promoting concerts, rock concerts,
and a closed-circuit screening of the infamous bout between Muhammad Ali and Japanese wrestler Antonio Inoki.
Just like I start off fighters, right, fans?
In 1974, Vince even gets a chance to work with Evel Knievel, learning tricks from that decade's biggest self-promoter.
Vince was one of the promoters of Evel Knievel Snake River Canyon Jump.
Vince pays the daredevil $250,000 for the closed-circuit rights to the jump.
See, now Vince got $250,000. He met his real dad at 12, and now he got $250,000 to blow on the rights to this Evel Knievel stunt. Y'all better go get y'all father's side of the story and stop playing. Y'all better go get y'all father's side of the story and stop playing.
Knievel's attempt fails spectacularly, and so does Vince. The audience willing to pay for the event turns out to be paltry, and Vince loses the entire $250,000. Just a few years later, he and his wife Linda file for bankruptcy. Yet despite his failed ventures away from wrestling, Vince is still convinced that he can expand his father's business.
He really wanted to bring his dad's wrestling company to the next level.
But not as an employee, as the new owner of the company.
I knew there was just some way I had to get my hands on this company.
June 6, 1982. It's sort of a red letter date in wrestling history. Vince sat down with his father and his father's partners.
The deal was for $1 million.
Vince mortgaged everything he had.
Vince was a weasel from a long time ago, bro. You see that? Y'all gotta understand, it's the truth behind Vince right here, yo. It was never no inheritance thing. Vince stole that company from his dad. His dad ain't give him no company. He swindled his way, knowing what he wanted to do. He just wanted to be a weasel.
Yeah, Vince a slickster, man. He been a slickster his whole life. And it's finally catching up with him. Justice is being served. That's all I got to say about that.
I think he weaseled his way through his dad because his dad was like even older school. So there was like handshake deals and all that type of stuff.
Yes.
So he easily did his paperwork. He got the paperwork. You know, he bypassed the handshakes. we're gonna get this paperwork behind his back and we're gonna take over ourselves.
Yeah,
He's a sociopath.
Definitely a sociopath. Because there's an incident. Hold on, let's let it play.
Had every dime that he had.
And he bought it on a balloon loan. He describes it as you pay a little right now and then you pay a lot later.
And if he missed payments, then the ownership would revert back to the original group.
They knew Vince knew the business. And if he failed, he failed. You know, they would get their money anyway.
The message was, if you can't handle this, if it turns out you blow it, we're taking it back.
But there may have been an even bigger reason why Vince Sr. was finally willing to pass the reins.
He had pancreatic cancer. And this may have been one of the motivations for him to sell.
Vince.
Exactly. They never tell that part of the story. They just say it like if he gave it to his son to keep it in. He didn't want his son with that shit, bro. He knew he always wanted to be cool with the brothers. He wanted to be cool with the territory guys.
Crazy business.
Yeah, this is getting juicy and juicier, man. It's like everything being built by Vince.
This is worse than drugs, like for real.
Facts, though. I see where you was going, Toxic Ring. Everything built by Vince is off a scandal.
Sr. had spent decades as one of the most revered owners in professional wrestling.
The stories that you hear about Vince Sr. don't revolve around ruthlessness or overly competitiveness. Once he had control in the Northeast, he was satisfied to kind of run that territory and do really well with it.
As he was content, like how most men are. Most men are content. We just want peace and natural beauty. That's it. Now we content with that. But when you raised around a woman like Vince, you're gonna be greedy. This is why kids need both parents so they can have a balance. If he'd have had his dad in his life, he wouldn't have been like this, guys. This is crazy.
For Vince Jr., he will not be so easily satisfied.
My dad wouldn't have really sold me the business had he known what I was going to do.
Oh, he said it out his own mouth.
He had a
guys.
vision.
He said it out his own mouth right there, yo.
Telling on himself.
Easily satisfied.
My dad wouldn't have really sold me the business had he known what I was going to do.
He had a vision to take his father's territory in New York and literally make it the biggest wrestling company, not only in the United States, in the world, to make it global.
Vince Jr. was more willing to take it all and be ruthless.
But first, Vince has to take on his father's old friends, the mostly men running the other wrestling companies across the country.
Every state had a wrestling territory. New York was the WWF. There was Memphis, there was Georgia, there was Florida, there was Texas.
There was the sense that everybody would respect each other's territory.
And for the most part, promotions all over the US and Canada coexisted, and it was a really thriving industry.
He thought, why do I have to respect these boundaries? Why can't I just start promoting everywhere?
Because doing so threatens the businesses of Vince Sr.'s fellow wrestling promoters.
You had these promoters now going to Vince Sr., they were his old friends, and saying, you have to talk to your son. He's out of control. Are you aware that he's trying to, run us out of our town? So Vince Sr. approached his son at some point saying, Vinny, you can't do this. And eventually Vince Jr. lost his temper at his dad and said, look, I'm going to do this with or without you, Dad. I mean, you work for me now. Are you with me or are you against me?
And it was at that point right there, I think, allegedly, in my opinion, that was his first scandal. He killed his dad with that attitude, with that, like, what is your dad? Your dad dumb old. What are you going to do? What are you going to rebuttal you? But that was enough to kill that old man's spirit.
Wow.
That was enough to kill that old man's spirit right there. Like, you know what, go ahead, bro. And this is what the modern people has done to the old-fashioned tradition. They just threw the baby out with the bathwater, as they say. You know what I mean? Like, physically, guys, he didn't physically kill his dad, so don't go saying, don't put words in my mouth. It's a spiritual
not at
thing.
all. No.
The spirit, like that's enough to, you know how when two people be married and they get old and the wife died and then right later then the husband go and die, because it's a spiritual thing. Like that was enough to kill that old man right there.
Yeah, that definitely aided in his pancreatic cancer. It probably sped it up a little bit more, because I know if you under stress, your body is under stress. So I mean,
Exactly.
man, you know, Vince,
And then you
man,
got,
oh man,
then you got your friends, you got your old time buddies, your bingo pals telling you like your son is being reckless and he's being disrespectful. You know, back then they didn't play that. You not having your kids in respect. This is the wrestling business we talking about. Third and fourth generations like of wrestlers, and they grooming their sons to wrestle, and you as a promoter don't got your little nigga in check. He not
right.
even a star. Like he not even a star.
Yeah, it speaks volumes, because Vince was basically, he's been ruthless to everybody. It seemed like he don't care about nobody but himself at the end of the day. He just show how selfish and power manipulative he is. It's really
That part right there is revenge. I'm staying with my degree this time. That part right there is him getting his revenge on his dad for not being there when he needed him the most. Because he said his dad didn't come back till he was 12, right? And by the time he was 12, everything done happened to him already.
He didn't find his dad until he was 12, because at the time, I guess he must have turned on the TV and seen his dad was the biggest wrestling promoter. on the East Coast. You know what I mean? But that's when he found his dad at 12.
But
now, I don't know if
but
his dad
dad
found him.
still, dad still got to pay, because you was gone for 12. Like, you know what happened to me, Dad? You know what happened here? You know what's been going on? No, you don't. So you got to pay too.
You on point. It's sad.
Yeah,
It sucks.
because it shows his behavior and resentment towards his dad.
Yeah, exactly. That shows like, bro, yeah, I used you because you got the money, you better off than mom is. So I'm using you. I'm gonna learn everything that you know, and then I'm gonna turn it against you.
Exactly. He killed his dad, bro.
Yeah, definitely.
So Vince Sr. approached his son at some point saying, Vinny, you can't do this. And eventually Vince Jr. lost his temper at his dad and said, look, I'm going to do this with or without you, Dad. I mean, you work for me now. Are you with me or are you against me? Vince Sr. kind of took a moment and thought about it and was quiet, and then looked at his son and said, you know what, Vinny, you're right. Those guys.
And he did, by taking from them the thing they needed most.
The talent, they all went for Vince. Your talent's gone, you can't eat. And that was it.
Now, either you get out of the way or you compete against an elephant.
Vince injects some competition into the industry.
And guys, that was the early stage of Vince McMahon. That was the early stage of the monster right there. Like I said, to me, in my opinion, that was his first sin he would have to pay for. You know what I mean? That was the first sin he'd have to pay for. That conversation that killed his dad right there. That was crazy. Guys, y'all got anything y'all want to talk about on that one before we get to the next?
Nah, you summed it up, bro, for me.
No, it's pretty much saying that it's showing a timeline of how Vince got the way he is. Now we see it.
Yeah, he took business. This is business, not personal, to a whole nother level.
Absolutely. Now, guys, they tried to scrub this video and this interview. They tried to scrub this interview from the internet, but we got it. You know what I mean? We got it.
Larry King.
Facts. Disclaimer, guys, if you got a weak stomach, get on out of here. This is not the time for that. Not the time for that, guys. Fair use.
Who says that he was sexually molested by wrestling executives. We'll start with Vince McMahon. What do you make of all this? I really don't know what to make of it. You have no concept that any of this was going on? No idea? No idea whatsoever.
In 1992, allegations would be brought against Vince McMahon and the WWF.
Where did this break? I mean, where did you hear about it? Who broke this story? How are the charges? Why do we know this?
Well, all I know is what I read in the newspaper and haven't been able to respond to. We've started our own investigation, our own internal investigation.
Because no one has gone to a police agency and said, I was forced to have sex.
No one has filed one single charge, not one single charge with the police, with anyone.
It is widely viewed that this should have likely marked the downfall of McMahon's reign.
Bruno Sammartino, famed wrestler.
Absolutely, abso-freaking-lutely. I said that, guys. That ring, the ring boy scandal with Tom Cole, for those of y'all that don't know, young man told them that he was being essayed countless amount of times and nobody did anything. They actually fired him, and he few months later committed suicide. That was the first incident other than the one with his dad that Vince should have been wrapped up.
Former champion, he's in Pittsburgh. What do you make of all this, Bruno?
Well, first of all, Larry, it's ironic that people like Pat Patterson, Terry Garvin, Mel Phillips have all resigned. They've all resigned from this organization, supposedly, because I question that too.
The living legend, Bruno Sammartino, had a 25-year feud with McMahon. In '92, he spilled.
And they had a recent re-signee, right? Didn't Kevin Dunn just come out of nowhere and just resign? So every time somebody resigns, you gotta watch it, because later on it's accusations, allegations coming out. Sad shit. And Bruno is one of the most revered champions. So if Bruno is going against you, guys, I'm believing Bruno, bro. I don't see why Bruno would have to lie. Bruno is in the record books as being his title holder. This is why he's so adamant about keeping that strap on Roman Reigns and getting rid of all those books, those histories. But you can't get rid of Bruno's. Bruno's is gonna be tough. It's gonna be tough.
On CNN.
But as far as McMahon being so shocked and surprised at all this, we go way back, for example, when one of these people, this Mel Phillips, was when we were doing a taping in Allentown or Hamburg, we're in a parking lot. There have been people who come forward who caught him with an 11-year-old boy having sex in a car. And this fella's had a reputation for many years. And not only has he remained with the organization, even though this was brought to the attention of the McMahons, but this guy's flourished because he's been with the organization for a lot of years. There's been talk for a long time, and it's no secret that McMahon is trying to say that he's shocked by this all.
Wrestling journalist David Bixenspan would recap for Wrestling Inc. Garvin and Patterson engaged in a casting couch culture with male wrestlers and other personnel.
And that's crazy, guys, because who is your first inaugural intercontinental champion with a whole made-up story behind it? Pat Patterson, and that's sad, bro. I don't. Nah.
Yeah, this is crazy.
You know,
oh wow, bro, Bruno Sammartino.
wow.
Like Bruno Sammartino is before our times, like period.
Yeah,
like,
Bruno wasn't playing with Vince.
Right. And then he already don't like you, so he don't need, and he's been quiet, so there's no need to. He's not lying on you, because otherwise he could have been started lying a long time ago.
That's a fact. Remember, your enemies, your ops, they tell you that the biggest self-improvement, they give you the biggest self-improvement you can have, but your ops. You know what I mean? Because y'all listen to your loved ones, and your loved ones is giving you protective information. Your ops, that information ain't protecting you, bro. But
At all.
Listen, if you fix what they talking about, you's a bad mother. You a bad mamma jamma. But whoa, this is crazy. Let's get in.
While also enabling Phillips to use his job to groom an underage, who he brought in as day laborers on his crew. McMahon, as many who have an ego as big as his, fired back in this way on live television.
It must have been flagrant then, Bruno. I mean, you were one of the top stars in the WWF. Surely you must have performed some of these sexual acts that are being alleged to get to where you were. Is that right?
Here's McMahon, who is saying that this is all shocking. Nobody's come forward. There's this young man here by the name of Tom Cole, who, for McMahon's lawyers have been negotiating for the last 3-4 days, or maybe even longer, in trying to stop this fella from filing. But I guess the money that they're offering isn't enough.
Are you saying that someone's trying to file charges and you're trying to prevent them? I'll tell you what I'm saying.
He would evade the question.
Exactly. He would evade that. And this scandal should have been caught Vince. This scandal should have had Vince tripped up. It shouldn't have been none of this shit right here, boy.
What I'm seeing a genius, bro. Vince McMahon is a genius. Like he just chose to use his powers for evil. But this man he's a fucking genius, bro. He got away with everything for 40, 50 years, bro. He got away with everything. He's a genius, this boy. And then he's lied to himself so much that he believes what he's saying is true.
Absolutely, though. This nigga's a devil, boy. This
Yo,
nigga is a devil.
He's different, bro. When I say he's a genius, I mean smart is smart no matter what you use. Bro. Like, oh my goodness, this boy. That boy good. That boy good. Good and terrible. Good and terrible, but that boy good.
Yep.
Yeah, this is crazy because I would say too, he's smart, but social media wasn't like it is today. Had social media been out back then, I think Vince would got caught a long time ago like it is right now.
You are absolutely right. You see, Vince is only caught because we are now high drive in a feminist society, bro. The feminist women is running this shit. You are not getting away with this shit, but it wasn't always like this. And this is what we be telling y'all about. It wasn't always like this. It was a time when men ruled the show. Boys would be boys. And his money kept him out of shit for a long time. That shit ain't working nowadays in this feminist society where it ain't about money. It's all about clout and attention, Vince.
You're gonna lose.
These chicks is stinging you because the first deal they did with you is all running out now, and they refuse to take the little pennies you trying to throw to keep them silent. These are willing participants, guys. Let's not be dumb here. Yes, the shit fucked up and you shouldn't do that. But when people take money over justice, then I let you know that they were willing participants, bro. Because if you want somebody to serve justice for their wrongdoing, then I'm opening my mouth. I don't give a fuck. Give me the money after I tell on you.
Right.
You know what I mean? Don't try to give me no money to keep me quiet. I'm going to get me some money after I tell on you. I'm going to own every shit you got. Since when it ever been cool to be quiet for some money, then get upset and then tell because you ain't get the money you wanted? That's what make the shit, that's what make it bad for the real victims.
And you got to think about this too. When you talk about the feminist movement, with the feminists comes the alphabet people. So you gotta it's a double whammy, bro. Because I believe that's my thing. I believe whenever the feminists make a move, the alphabet people move with them. Alphabet people definitely gonna move with them.
Facts. But I think those two fight each other. Those two fight over control. Those two groups under that umbrella fight over control. You know what I mean? That's the girl on girl battle right there.
I could see that, but like I thought of that before I made my statement because it's correct. But you're still gonna have a nice portion who don't battle.
Oh shit, we lost Uncle Jackie.
Gentlemen, Murray Hodgson, hired by Vince McMahon. Here on my left for the TV job. You were the commentator. And then fired 2 months later. What happened? Can you specifically, and without taking us around the world, tell us, what is it that happened to you?
I wouldn't sleep with the vice president of operations, so they fired me.
Is the vice president of operations?
Wow, he just came out with it. Yo, KD, man. How hard is the fall from grace for this man, Vince, man?
Vince McMahon, after what has happened with everything, and I heard there's supposed to be more coming out. It's pretty much, don't be surprised, guys, if we get Surviving Vince McMahon. Don't surprise if we get a documentary of Surviving Vince McMahon. We already got, Surviving R. Kelly. They're supposed to do Surviving Diddy. We gonna give stuff Surviving Vince McMahon, and his name is gonna get removed from everything that he's ever done with WWE. They're gonna erase his name forever.
Incredible, yo.
One of those who resigned? Yes, he is. Barry Orton. Here's Barry O, the former professional wrestler. You accused an executive grabbing your crotch, legs, and chest and wouldn't stop.
Yeah, well, I was in between the two of them in the back seat of the car.
There would be more allegations, more trouble, and more resignations. From Bixen's span once more in March of 92, McMahon conceded he fired Phillips to the Post, which he would sue for defamation. In it, McMahon never disputed what he said to the Post, which was, and I quote, Phillips's relationship with kids seemed peculiar and unnatural. In 2020, when contacted by Business Insider for a story about the Ring Boy scandal, WWE attorney Jerry McDevitt ignored all questions about McMahon's calls with Mushnick and Meltzer. More from Bixen's span. In September 93, the FBI had...
And that's where WWE get their hate for Meltzer, for Dave Meltzer, guys. They get their hate from that because his coverage on that was ferocious, ferocious. But don't sleep. I think he paid Meltzer off at some point. He paid Meltzer off to leave him alone. That's just word on the street, guys. Inside information. But that's where Meltzer, the Dave Meltzer guy, gets his name and he gets his entrance in on the wrestling business.
Had a videotape of Phillips doing what was alleged by his accusers. In a separate memo, the FBI disregarded the tape because they perceived there to be too many alternate angles.
Next thing I know, Vince unzipped his pants and he took my hand and he kept...
I'm not even going to risk it. I'm not even going to risk it. But I'm not even going to risk it, yo.
Right.
He knew I didn't have a job. I had left Frito-Lay because of him. He knew that I had a daughter and that he could either make me or break me. The choice was mine. And when I said no, he said that I'd better satisfy him. And he started pulling my pants off. And he pulled me out.
You know, Vince. You know what type of shit Vince be on. Vince be on
He
that
making her
bullshit.
pay, man.
On
So
Now It Can Be
profound.
Told. Vince would again sue for defamation, only to drop it a year later. In 2006, a police report will be filed that McMahon showed explicit photos of himself to an employee of Tanzavar, a tanning salon in Boca Raton, Florida. The clerk told this to police, including the allegation that McMahon groped her. She managed to break away. He would not be charged, however. In 2018, the Daily Beast wrote of the alleged details of how McMahon followed the attendant to a back room and closed the door. According to documents, McMahon grabbed her and tried to kiss her. She said she put both of her hands on his chest and tried to push him away. McMahon continued to grab her, touching her waist and buttocks and attempting to lift up her button-down shirt while rubbing her with the backside of his arms, she would tell the cops. The Sun Sentinel would go on to report that McMahon would not be charged with the citation, being insufficient evidence. The police report would state in part by investigator J.M. Clare, there is probable cause to believe that Vince McMahon did actually and intentionally touch against the will of redacted contrary to, and they list the Florida statute. Bixen's span would file a public records request. However, he was informed that the records and files were destroyed. And the reason was, and the response he got, citing Florida case law. In 2022, the Wall Street Journal's explosive piece surfaced after the WWE's board hired an independent law firm where anonymous emails were sent alleging wrongdoing by McMahon and top executive/confidant John Laurinaitis, who served as head of talent relations. It turned up a private $3 million settlement. From journalists Joe Palazzolo and Ted Mann, the first email sent to board members on March 30th alleged that Vince, 76, initially hired the woman at a salary of $100K, but increased it to $200K.
Are you frustrated with the number of dates you thought were the
That
one?
boy Vince, a
who you ended
dangerous
up starting
man,
a family
boy.
with and being in love?
After beginning a sexual relationship with her. The email to the board also alleged that McMahon gave her like a toy to Laurinaitis. The board is investigating the allegations in the email. The people familiar with the inquiry said. One email to the board would read, "My friend was so scared, so she quit, after Vince and lawyer Jerry paid her millions of dollars to shut up, the initial email to the board said, referring to McMahon's longtime lawyer, Mr. McDevitt, who negotiated the deal, according to people familiar with the sitch. Then we would learn of 3 more settlements that were uncovered by Pavasolo, Mann, and Joe Flint at the Journal. The totals even higher. It was, they report, an act of suppressing allegations of sexual misconduct and infidelity. The previously unreported settlements include a $7.5 million pact with a former wrestler who alleged that McMahon coerced her into giving him oral and then demoted her, and ultimately declined to renew her contract in 2005 after she
Damn, yo, this is where Vince could fund OnlyFans by himself.
resisted further sexual encounters. According to people familiar with the matter, the wrestler and her attorney approached McMahon in 2018 and negotiated the payment in return for her silence, the people said. In a pattern some may notice, a WWE contractor presented the company with unsolicited nude photos of McMahon she reported receiving from him and alleged that he had sexually harassed her on the job, according to people familiar with the woman's 2008 NDA. Mr. McMahon agreed to pay her roughly $1 million, those people said. Lastly, in a 2006 agreement, a former manager who had worked 10 years for McMahon before he allegedly initiated a sexual relationship with her was paid $1 million to keep quiet about it, according to people familiar with the deal. And yet there were more allegations against McMahon that came to light. Paul London would accuse McMahon of sexually pursuing Ashley Mazzaro, who would die by unaliving herself in 2019. In 2022, the journal.
That's a fact, man. Look at the trail that he leaves. Like, that's the second person that unalived themselves messing with this dude, Vince McMahon, bro. Magically, you got this girl unalive, right? What's her name? Kim Porter. Like, when dealing with these demons, bro, when your life is at risk.
Journal would uncover yet more allegations against McMahon. A spa manager in Southern California claims he assaulted her back in 2011. Which brings us to the most recent wave of news. From the Wall Street Journal, Janelle Grant, a former employee at the wrestling firm's headquarters, said in a suit filed Thursday she was abused and sexually exploited by McMahon while he was chief executive. She alleged that McMahon lured her with promises of career advancement, and then he allegedly exploited her and trafficked her to other men inside the company. Grant signed an NDA in 2022 in which McMahon agreed to pay $3 million for her not to discuss the relationship or disparage him. The WWE would receive an anonymous tip in 2022 about the relationship, and thus the board investigation began, which uncovered other payments by the CEO to women. Janelle Grant's lawsuit said Vince stopped making payments under the 2022 deal after the initial $1 million installment. The suit seeks to void the agreement and unspecified financial damages. McMahon's reps and attorneys have said he will fight the charges.
Vince has been a guy who's been mired in controversy for much of, like I'd say, for on and off for the last 35 years. But this is, by far the worst.
The accusations by former employee Janelle Grant against McMahon and another former WWE executive are detailed and explicit. Some so graphic we've chosen not to share them. Among those we can, McMahon began sharing sexually explicit photographs and video of Ms. Grant, including pornographic contour men, and McMahon recruited individuals to have sexual relations with Ms. Grant.
The lawsuit filed in a Connecticut federal court describes in graphic and grotesque detail Janelle Grant's accounts of interactions with McMahon. She alleged that Vince and another WWE executive locked her in an office in their headquarters in Stamford, Connecticut on June 15, 2021, and took turns sexually assaulting her while the other staff were working.
I've said before, I don't think he can survive this, and been wrong. But this one, I don't think he can survive this because it's too much on the heels of everything else that's come out.
The suit alleges on that workday, McMahon locked Grant inside a private locker room at WWE's headquarters and forced himself on her. Later in the day, Vince's assistant gave Grant $15,000 in gift cards to Bloomingdale's. In addition, texts were uncovered where McMahon allegedly said to Grant, "I'm the only one who owns you and controls who I want to blank you." Yeah, Grant claims the board investigation was a complete and utter sham, including that she was never asked to be interviewed throughout the process. Grant and her attorneys claim that after being introduced and having discussions about a potential job, McMahon greeted her in his underwear and repeatedly asked for hugs. Then the suit said he pressured her into sexual activities in return for employment and warned her to stay quiet about their interactions. She was hired but felt the job was unearned. As time went on, McMahon began forcefully using sex toys on Grant and named some of them after his roster of WWE wrestlers. They caused damage to her, the suit claims, including Grant trying to end the relationship. Some of the details are as follows. McMahon sent her to a surgeon where she did not receive a single bill. He transferred her to work under Laurinaitis, and they had sex before work many times. They had a threesome with Laurinaitis and McMahon, and per the suit, took turns restraining her for the other while saying no means yes and take it be. A huge revelation is this. In July 2021, the suit says McMahon instructed Grant to create personalized sexual content for a WWE superstar he was trying to re-sign. Although the suit did not name him, it is described as both a UFC fighter and WWE talent. People familiar with the matter identified that person as Brock Lesnar. The suit said McMahon shared the explicit photos with Lesnar and informed Grant that he likes what he sees. After the star agreed to a new contract within the WWE, McMahon texted Grant in August 2021 to say that part of the deal was blanking you. That December, McMahon gave Grant's personal cell to the WWE star, says the suit. The wrestler asked her to send a video of herself urinating, the suit said. And after she did, he called her a bee. That same month, per the suit, the star expressed a desire to set a playdate, but a snowstorm would halt those plans. Lastly, from the Wall Street Journal, the lawsuit seeks a judgment that the NDA is invalid under state and federal law and compensatory and punitive damages under other laws, including the Trafficking Victims Protection Act. All the credit goes to the fine journalists who have broken these stories and brought this to light. They are Khadijah Savtar, Joe Palazzolo, Ted Mann, David Bixenspan, and others who have shown relentless journalism to uncover the truth.
Facts, so salute to those guys for doing what they got to do to get to the truth, bro. That's what we do over here. Guys, I ain't going to hold y'all much longer. KDH, man, go on and close the show out for us, man.
This video, it shows here that whatever you do in the dark, it comes to light. And it shows that even with money, power, resources, if you're not doing what's right, you will eventually go down. It's going to take you longer than others, but you will go down at some given point. So do not let the money and power manipulate your mind. And also try not to use that to manipulate others.
Facts, bro. Like you said, KD.
Yeah,
how you get the money
out.
is important. How you get the money is hella important. And if you get it the wrong way, you're going to lose it.
Most definitely. But other than that, check me out, Toxic Rain Scandal. I have scandals, backstage drama. Whoever has behind the scenes, check that out. Wrestling content, Toxic Rain Scandal, aka KDH. And it's be lots that I'll cover there, especially the locker room news. Just check out locker room news. It'll be definitely more that I'll cover, especially with the whole Vince McMahon allegations.
Facts, guys. Remember, over here, we just do celebrity gossip, and Vince happened to be a celebrity, so we don't stick on wrestling content, but once in a blue moon. So if you want that wrestling content, make your way on over to the Red Carpet Ring or to the Toxic Ring Scandals. Do both, guys. Do both. All right, y'all. Y'all enjoy the rest of y'all day, and I'll see y'all later, man. Sucks to be Vince.
All right. Had a collab over there talking about Vince McMahon, talking about the allegations for his whole history. That's the joint collab I did. We'll have more that we'll cover. This is definitely plenty more to go over there, but it proves that whatever you do in the dark does come to light, as I said. So don't let that fool you. So we'll have more to cover on Vince McMahon. And if you don't do right, it shows even when you're the head of everything, It shows you could be fired too, like this.
That Vince, you are relieved of your duties.
So, this is the end of former chairman history of allegations when Vince screwed Vince. Soon reveals will pop up for toxic ring scandal. Former executive producer and chief of global involved in scandal. Next video will be up will be when the father-son rivalry became real. Until then, it is OUT.